harnessing sustainable, renewable, and competitive energy in the form of usable electricity is arguably the greatest challenge facing modern society. Future energy demands are increasing at an exponential rate, coupled with a myriad of problems associated with the negative effects of global warming and a rapidly dwindling supply of fossil fuels. Clearly, effective solutions to the world's energy crisis demands extensive investigation. Current power generation technology falls hopelessly short of these needs and quite often results in the creation of even more problems. Consider the various historical disasters associated with nuclear power plants. With increasingly severe natural disasters across the globe, combined with spiraling energy costs, in addition to the myriad of health risks associated with current technology, society has issued a clarion call for new discoveries involving competitive and sustainable energy solutions. A highly innovative Canadian technology company, which originated in South Africa called QuantoVex Technologies, has partnered with a leading quantum physicist, also a South African, to realize the elusive dream of clean, affordable, and sustainable energy production. Their combined efforts over a period of the past 29 years has culminated in a truly remarkable invention. An invention which represents a complete departure from expensive and damaging power generation methodology. Consider now the revolutionary new manner in which electricity generation will become commonplace within the next 5 years across the globe. Power generation that is natural, competitive, renewable, and as clean as nature itself. Introducing the QuantoVex QVex 35 electrical power generation plant, the world's first energy-specific electrical power plant. This model has an output of 35 kilowatts three-phase, taking power to exactly where it's required. Whether its application is for residential, commercial, or industrial use, QuantoVex have a range of purpose-designed power units to meet various specifications and power output demands. Quite simply, the QVex power unit range represents a revolutionary new way in which to produce electricity. This is groundbreaking technology. It's poised to enter full production and be made available across the globe. Finally, electricity that is renewable, competitive, and sustainable, because its design is adapted directly from nature, harnessing energy from the atmosphere. The unique application of the QVex power unit range is purpose-made for the direct benefit of the end user, be it a single household, multiple dwellings, small businesses, or even factories. The modular design of the product negates the requirement for access to large power lines and substations, as it is located and functions independently of the electricity grid. Furthermore, the QuantoVex power unit is designed for use at the source. The QVex power unit range is divided into 3 main areas where electricity is generated, consisting primarily of ionization tanks, vortex generators, and a PCU, or power control unit. Initiating the process involves an input of 10 amps with 220 volts at 50 Hz, which is used to power an air densifier unit, as well as certain onboard electronics. The PCU subsequently steps up the power to 50,000 volts at a frequency of 6,000 Hz. This power then enters the first vortex generator, called the striker, which is an aluminium cylinder comprised of an inner and outer wall. The walls of the cylinder are separated with a magnetic and radiation shielding material and features a central column of rare earth magnets wrapped in silicon tubing. The outer facade of the inner wall features numerous pairs of magnets that are arranged in a descending clockwise spiral and separated by opposing magnetic poles. The inner and outer magnetic columns create a magnetic vortex spinning downwards in a clockwise direction. Together, the highly magnetized fields and the input current create a high level of static electricity. As electrons surrounding the atoms are stripped away and become excited, naturally occurring quantum particles, which are positively charged and over 43 times smaller than atoms, become attracted to the negatively charged electrons, effectively boosting them significantly. The electrons then clump together during a process called knobbing, and it is this action that is integral to the energy boosting component of the power generation unit. The initial input of 10 amps required to start the process finally results in an output of approximately 530 amps after the 3 vortex generators have completed the sequence. The entire system is stabilized in approximately 4.5 minutes, after which the power output is sustained and does not require any external input. Simultaneously, an air densifier unit splits a stream of air at a pressure of 8 bars into 2 separated streams, each ending up in separate receptacles. One is heated to a temperature of 48 degrees Celsius and the other is cooled to 3 degrees Celsius. The heated air is directed via a nozzle into the bottom section of the striker in an anti-clockwise direction, whilst conversely, the cold air is introduced via the top nozzle, also in an anti-clockwise direction of flow. A high differential in temperature results when the 2 air streams collide, resulting in a process commonly occurring in nature, namely ionization. Here, negatively charged electrons are stripped away and polarization occurs. The highly static airstream discharges into the copper coil, where the current is increased by 27.43 times. The discharge enters the second vortex generator called the booster, where the process is repeated both for this vortex generator and the next one, the stabilizer. The final combined output from the vortex generators will have been amplified to approximately 530 amps, 50,000 volts, at 6,000 hertz. The electricity is fed back into the PCU and is transformed via a step-down process back to 50 hertz, 530 amps, and 220 volts. At this juncture, 30 amps are split off, routing 10 amps back to the input to run the equipment, and the remaining 20 amps are accounted for as losses. The power unit now no longer requires an electric power catalyst, as it produces adequate power resources to run all of the systems required. The output live can be split by 120 degrees in 2 directions, resulting in a 3-phase power supply. All unused current is naturally earthed, thereby negating the use of storage or a loopback system. The QuantoVex power unit range, the genesis of revolutionary technology in energy production.